Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs pregame show presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Cody Delmendo and Luke Stuckmeyer with you as we get ready for the Cubs and Brewers. He is Cody_CHGO. He's wearing the CHGO swag. I'm Luke Stuckmeyer, and that is at Luke Stuckmeyer on Twitter. Ryan Herrera, by the way, at the ballpark, Wrigley North. He'll be covering the game, and he'll be joining us on the post-game show tonight. Cubs and Brewers for the second time this season. First series went pretty well.
You could say, yeah. The only series they've won.
Like to see more of that.
Yeah, we need more of it. We are actually kind of desperate for it right now.
Is this now the Cubs' biggest rival, or is it still the Cardinals?
It's still the Cardinals. This is what I always say about Milwaukee is, in a way, they kind of give off like the same energy I feel from White Sox fans. And nothing against you, Steven. I
personally attacked you.
I know where you're going though.
But like Brewers fans, especially on social media, they like to make they like to add it, like go with the joke of, it took you 108 years to do this, can't wait for another 108 years. It's like, dude, your team has never won a World Series ever. Like they talk the talk and have nothing to back it up. Now their team right now is good, very good, potentially World Series contender. But like they talk like their franchise has like a history of being really good for a really long time. Like that's the one thing Cardinals fans will always have over us until correct. The Cubs win a couple more World Series in our lifetimes. You know what I mean? Or at least another one.
I would say Milwaukee is the little brother.
Yeah.
Who happens to be on a better team right now.
Yeah.
Than the big brother who's a better player.
Right. I will say this. The Cubs-Brewers rivalry has heightened since 2018.
It's a fun rivalry, and it's fun for Cubs fans because you can go up to the ballpark and get tickets and not have to worry about weather this time of year.
Yeah. Just make it
stop. It is a nice ballpark. They'll complain about the Cubs and the Wrigley's an old dump, and we got this beautiful ballpark. I think they forgot County Stadium because that was the dump of all dumps.
Yeah. No, it's always nice to, get on I-94, go up, get into Wisconsin, and when you get in the Milwaukee area, go to one of the 50 subways that are there and get your $5 footlong to go with your Brewers tickets. I mean, it is what it is. It's a nice way to get your tickets a different way compared to how we do it here. I guess. I don't know.
All right, let's take you really had Brewer fans fired up on Twitter today. So let's get to the lineup. And they're sending out Ortega at DH. VR batting second at second base. Wilson Contreras, Happ, Suzuki in right, Rivas at first. I know you're happy about that. We'll get to that. Wisdom at third, Hayward in center, and Horner batting ninth. What do you like most about the lineup?
I love that Rivas is in it. Back-to-back games, Alfonso Rivas in the lineup. I kind of like that Schwindel's sitting again tonight. What I really think the Cubs need to start doing is really working that first base platoon because Schwindel was very good against lefties last year.
Yeah.
And he's let's be real, he's struggled out the gates. He has an OPS under 700 right now, and that doesn't mean we're out on him. It's just he was kind of hurt in spring training. He's just off to a slow start. So I think instead of giving him everyday playing time, I think doing that platoon with him and Rivas is a good idea. So I like that the most. I still think you got to put someone other than Ortega at the DH on a consistent basis. But again, I just said that we need to sit Schwindel right now with how he's struggling against righties. So I guess in this instance, I'm okay with it. I mean, I am genuinely interested to see what Michael Hermosillo would do against righties. Like, God, I sound like such a supporter and a stan for him, but I'm just genuinely interested what kind of baseball player he would be with everyday, consistent, chances. Like, that's all. You do it for like a week and a half. And if he is absolute garbage and sucks and makes errors in the outfield, then we're done. Then we can be done. You know what I mean? But like that's the only thing here because it's not even about Hayward because Hayward's actually been hitting okay.
And he's 4 for 12
against
in his career against Hauser, so that's why he's in.
Yeah, and that's why he's in. I know a lot of people just automatically jump to, Hayward's in there again, but he's actually playing pretty well this year for what we expect. And
better than Christian Yelich.
Facts are facts. So yeah, I mean, Ortega there, he's been okay the last couple games, so it's hard to complain about him, but I just want to see more Hermosillo, and we're just not going to until David Ross says, okay, like we've seen enough of whoever he's seen enough of. We're going to give Hermosillo a try. I don't like that route, but I'm not the manager. I don't get to make decisions.
Microscopic sample size, but Hermosillo actually has a higher average and OPS versus righties this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's barely had a lot of, like, he's literally, I think going into that game against Atlanta, he had like 22 at-bats this year. Like 22. And he had an up and down game, and then everyone was already done with him. And it's just like so infuriating with me when it comes to that. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if we're going to give Patrick Wisdom consistent at-bats against righties every game, then, like, why not Hermosillo? You know what I mean?
I don't have an answer for you.
Exactly.
Back to Rivas for a second. That catch yesterday was one of the best catches I've seen by a first baseman in a long time.
And we got to watch Rizzo for a long time.
Rizzo made, you think to the tarp catches, right? You know, that was his thing, and nobody even knew if that was really legal the first time he did it.
Yeah.
That was a full-on sprint, fading away from first base over the shoulder. Mm-hmm. That's tough. That's a tough catch. Like,
right.
Your head is bouncing all over the place on a dead sprint back like that, and he made it look pretty easy. I thought they were going to collide, first of all, which is the other problem with running like that at first base when your right fielder's coming in. But that was a great catch. And so, he did that catch alone makes me want to see him back in the lineup today.
Yeah. And again, I'm glad that Rivas is in there today. You know, I don't want to say that David Ross is going to get stubborn with certain things, but it's like finally.
Right.
So it will be interesting whenever they do need to, remove someone from the roster because of spots. If Rivas keeps playing well and he keeps getting put in the lineup, who they will demote. But, we got a while for that. But VR batting second is what it is. At least he's playing second and not shortstop. Not shortstop, yeah.
Agreed. You know what's interesting about the Cubs is that series against the Braves, they went from 4 hits in the first game to 11 hits in the second game, back to just 3 hits. It was like no offense.
Yeah.
No offense again.
I thought they had a lot of unlucky outs last night. Kyle Wright went deeper than I think he would have against a really good team, but that is what it is. But yeah, I think at the end of the day you tip your cap. But the Cubs, they walked plenty against them, but they just couldn't, get over the hump in the big moments. So, and then Ethan Roberts probably went from having his best outing to his worst outing as a Cub. That's just kind of what comes with being a young pitcher in the league, right? So, this isn't the worst lineup I've ever seen. I like that. I actually like that Hayward is in there tonight. So, we'll see how long he is in there, because I'm sure if there's a lefty, the Brewers have come in for Hauser and Hayward's due up. I'm sure, I actually believe that Hermosillo would get a chance, or Schwindel will get in a bat.
I think the most interesting thing going into this game is Willie or won't he?
Willie or won't he?
Wilson Contreras, will he get plunked or won't he get plunked? He sat out the final game of that series against the Brewers after the little brouhaha, for lack of a better word, right? Like,
yeah.
Here's all I'm going to say. This has been my argument. We sat with Ryan the next day and we talked about it. Ryan said, listen, the Brewers have been hit by the Cubs as many times as the Cubs have been hit by the Brewers. And I said, I'm more focused on Wilson Contreras. They've hit him 10 times since 2020. And number one, if you're going to say, well, we're pitching inside, that's fine, but you can't hit a guy 10 times and keep pitching him inside. At some point, if that's the real reason he's getting hit, at some point you have to say, our guys suck at throwing inside. We can't do that. We're going to hurt the guy. We have to find another way to get him out. If that's not the case, then the other case is they're hitting him on purpose because they don't like his attitude, his swag, all of those things, his chatter behind the plate. I still believe that is really the case.
Hey,
totally.
That's totally your
let me give
your
you
opinion, man.
Let me give you the stats here. Wilson was hit twice in 2 games against the Brewers this season. He's played 14 other games this year against other teams. How many times has he been hit? None. Zero. Okay? The Cubs were hit 4 times in 3 games versus Milwaukee. They've been hit just 6 in their other 16 games. So that one's a little iffy, but the Contreras thing, 2 games, hit twice. And when you're adding on to all the other time, you've hit him 15 times in your career. Mm-hmm. And it started trouble before. So in the first 2 games, you hit him twice.
Right.
And the rest of the season so far, the other 14 games he's played, another team hasn't even sniffed hitting him.
Right. And all of the media in Milwaukee are saying that Contreras crowds the plate like he's Anthony Rizzo or some shit.
So then why aren't all these other teams hitting him?
Good question.
Why is it just the Brewers?
Luke, to your point, Hauser has yet to hit a batter this season. So if he does, maybe we have to assume something is up there.
Something's up. They don't like Wilson. The Brewers do not like Wilson Contreras.
Brewers fans don't like Wilson Contreras.
I'm not saying all of those were on purpose because some of them were in scenarios where you'd look at it and say, well, that doesn't make sense to put him on base there. I'm just saying when they get the opportunity sometimes, they're happy to go inside. And some of them may be pitching mistakes. Some of them are certainly not.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. And it's going to be interesting. I don't think anything in particular will happen tonight, but I do think Saturday or Sunday, maybe.
Well, nothing happened in the final game of the series, but again, Contreras didn't play that game.
That's true.
And he's sort of the flint to that fire that takes off between the 2 teams.
That's true.
So when he wasn't in there and you already had probably warnings going in, I wonder what the umpires will tell the 2 teams as they hand out the lineup cards tonight. Like, will they address that?
They
Past
should.
History, they probably should at least bring it up.
Yeah, they should. They should
probably
definitely
should at least
bring it up. I don't know. You make a lot of good points, and I'm with you. I think that at the end of the day, whether they're trying to hit him or not, it's more about like kind of like when we talked about that series. They are considered to have one of the best staffs in baseball. So if you're considered one of the best staffs in baseball, perhaps consider not hitting players like,
over and over and over.
And the same one over and over and over. So, yeah, man. I look actually kind of.
I just think it's fascinating. I can't wait to see what happens in this game.
I actually like myself that kind of chose violence on the CHGO Cubs Twitter account today. Kind of wants something to happen just so we can just get all of Brewers Twitter riled up tonight while we're sitting here watching the draft and watching the Cubs Brewers game.
Cody, you're the points bet guy. If you were putting odds on Wilson Contreras being plunked, what would you put the odds at?
Plus 100. Yeah, which is like even, right? Like it could happen, it might not happen. I think plus 100 is solid. And if you wanted to,
what about Wilson getting hit in this series?
Oh, I'd put it like minus 150. Like it's gonna happen. So if those, I wish those odds were on PointsBet, but you can bet on tonight's game, which I did bet on tonight's game. I got no runs first inning. And I'm trying to convince Luke to ride with me on it.
Yeah, if I have time, I'll do it. I got to look up the login.
Yeah, he's got to figure out how to log into his account.
It takes a while.
Classic Luke. Anyway, we're making these bets on PointsBet, and the best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com and we'll help you. Remember that PointsBet is your home for live in-game betting. They even have a new exclusive feature, live NBA same-game parlay. For the first time ever, build the perfect live same-game parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game. You can even boost your live same-game parlays. And now online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. Signing up with the fastest sportsbook is now easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. Use code CHGO to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
On the other side of this wall, Olin Kreutz, Adam Hogan, the guys are doing the NFL draft show. So when you're done watching this, you can flip right on over and check out what they're doing. I believe the Bears have just made their pick.
Oh, who did they get?
Cornerback, is that correct?
Did they take a cornerback?
I think they took a cornerback.
Oh.
Pulling up the draft board right now.
He's pulling
All right,
it
let's
up.
find out. This is Bears / Cubs are baby
Cubs,
Bears.
We're all the same here.
Kyler Gordon.
Yeah,
A
cornerback,
Washington
right?
corner. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So now they think they maybe have 2 cornerbacks. Anyways, for real analysis on that,
Slide on over.
they're
to
there
there.
all night. The Bears
will
have
be there,
another
yeah.
second-round pick. We'll see.
Jack
If they
R's
keep
wondering.
that.
He's in chat asking about him.
What do we know about him? I don't know anything, but
I
they
know
have,
nothing.
they have Jalen Johnson on one side,
Yeah.
and now they would have this guy on the other side.
I did
could
read-
potentially have 2 young corners.
I read something where it was basically stated if they were to take Kyler Gordon. Actually, when I say I read something, I was reading their article on allchgo.com today.
Yeah. As a member, of course.
As a member. And they were saying that he could just slide right in and start week 1.
I actually followed his recruitment to Washington, and very athletic. And the thing that I love is the pedigree that you get from Washington. They produce corners, so I like the pick myself.
All right.
So there is some of that going in on the chat. I see Jack has brought it up that they got a cornerback. And Nick G says, Wilson getting hit, pound the over. We will see, Nick and Jack. We will see. So Cubs and Brewers tonight, second time this season.
Yes, sir.
And Kyle Hendricks on the hill for the Cubs. And, he was great in the opener against the Brewers.
Yeah.
Then he had a couple that, and then last start he was good.
Right.
That was the game of all games that you were at.
21-0 game.
The one you will never, ever forget, the Cubs game at Wrigley Field.
And
biggest blowout in Cubs history.
Biggest blowout in Cubs history. And again, the wind was howling out that day. And for the Cubs to only give up 3 hits, I don't care if it was the Pirates, anyone. Like, that should have been a 10-15 game or something, the way that wind was blown out that day. The fact that Hendricks only allowed 2 hits in that outing is really impressive. So hopefully he takes that into tonight. Gave us 7 innings in the last start. I'm not expecting 7. I'll take 5 or 6. But I think it all will base around the Cubs will win this game if they're able to score early and if Hendricks can give them another outing like he did in the season opener.
What do you know about Hauser? What do you think of Hauser? I mean, it's a guy
got a great
the ERA
sinker.
just slightly below Hendricks.
Yeah.
He's okay. He's not like they're...
He's solid. He would have a much bigger impact on a team that didn't have Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, and Freddie Peralta. That's for sure. He's very solid. Yes. I believe he is a sinker baller. That's kind of like his go-to. So I'm assuming he's trying to get as many ground ball outs as he can. I take the under on strikeouts tonight for him, which was at 3.5 at plus money. Just letting you know, it's on PointsBet. So that's really about all I really know about him.
Before we do who you got, the biggest baseball story of the day is Trevor Bauer, right?
Don't say.
Suspended for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And he'll be a free agent then, right? So when his deal's done, he's a free agent, and he's giving up, well, he'll forfeit because of the suspension. He's unpaid.
Yeah.
And he is appealing it, but that's $65 million in salary that he's losing. And I would guess that he's going to have some civil suits coming his way.
He's gonna have something coming.
Boy, was that
way.
a bat? That Dodgers not a good move.
No,
I've seen some people in the chat. I think I don't remember who exactly it was. Somebody keeps saying the Cubs got a sign.
Oh yeah,
Trevor Bauer, and I'm always like,
someone kept
saying
that in the chat in the last couple weeks.
I know there's been a push for that, and I'm just going to suggest no.
No, that's going to be a no.
I'm not
for me,
sure
dog.
anybody's going to sign him
Yeah.
by the time he's done.
I think that's it for him.
If he serves the full 2 years, he's going to be older and he's going to have a stink behind him, and I would think he might be done.
He's 31 years old right now.
The only
31 now, so yeah.
I feel like the only teams that would actually consider it is a team that's in like a smaller market that might be on the come up, and
they're willing to take
that risk just because they aren't necessarily in a big market where people will dissect that for every single day.
And don't get me wrong, teams will take chances on guys who have been in the news and have been accused of stuff and may or may not have done.
We've had our own experience with Addison Russell, man. Like,
for sure. Like, there aren't too many teams that have a perfect track record of that. I'm saying, I think at his age, despite the fact that he's a great pitcher, there's enough smoke coming off of this and then a 2-year suspension from the commissioner that it might be the end.
He's for a long time he's been controversial on social media too. So that not only does that rub the fans the wrong way, but
Cody, so have you. You've been controversial on Twitter.
When have I been controversial? When have I been Trevor Bauer controversial on Twitter?
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like I'm just saying he kind of dug his own hole, in my opinion. I think that what is happening to him was kind of just because of his own doing. He was I respect his whole like trying to grow the game and everything, like what he was doing on his YouTube channel and stuff like that. Like that's cool. I appreciate that because we need more of that in baseball, but he was very outspoken about a lot of things on social media that honestly fans just don't want to listen or hear that, in my opinion. I think that this was just kind of common to him. I don't really feel bad for him at all, personally.
Nick G says, I never wanted him, even before toxic AF attitude. No thanks. Yeah, I know what I know what AF stands for.
Grandpa Stucky's not too far behind the times.
I'm aware of those.
Yeah.
LOL.
Anyway, it's a big story, and this has to be the longest suspension the MLB's ever given, right?
Pete Rose comes to mind.
What'd you say?
Pete Rose.
Yeah, Pete
Rose. Yeah, that's just like a lifetime ban, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's because he bet on himself. So I don't know. Like,
by the way, Jack just left us to go watch the Colts pick. Come on, Jack. But he said he will chat during the post game, so
we'll see him then.
We'll bring him back, and he can tell us all about who the Colts drafted.
He's already back. The Colts traded back. He got back to the pregame show.
I'm back. The Colts traded back, he says.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, hey.
Colts. Way to go, Colts. All right, so let's get to who you got. We got a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
Let's see. The last win was Ryan. I won the first one. You're looking for your first win tonight.
Yeah.
We look at the Cubs lineup and who they've got going. This is the first time we've done this. I'm taking a pitcher. I'm going Kyle Hendricks.
Yeah.
I like the way he pitched against him in the first time he faced him this season. I like the way he pitched in his last outing. And so I'm going to go the professor.
Riding momentum.
Yeah.
You're riding momentum.
Only 2 hits in 7 innings last outing.
Yeah, you're riding momentum. I'm riding momentum because I'm taking Alfonso Rivas, who had a great game in Atlanta the other night, and he's actually just been playing very well in the last week. And now we're seeing the last 2 days, consistent at bats. You love to see it. Hope to see him keep that going. Lefty versus righty. I think it's a great matchup for him against Hauser. And he's in batting, he's batting 6th. So he's going to hopefully have guys on base with him coming up. I'm optimistic here, Luke. I'm optimistic. I think Hendricks gives us 6 innings. I think Rivas is at least part of why we win. And I'm slamming Cubs money line. So
it is possible that both Hendricks And, Ryan, we should say Ryan is taking Suzuki. He made the last pick, and Suzuki was still sitting there.
Yeah.
And some of that is, not that I think he's going to have a bad game. It's just become the too easy.
Yeah.
It's just been too easy to pick. I don't want to pick Suzuki every game that I get the opportunity. So, but I like Kyle Hendricks. It's possible with my selection of the professor that we could have two of those actually play out, right? I guess you could have two hitters have two really equally good games, but you could have Hendricks go 7 innings, 1 run, and you could have Rivas have 3 hits, and then we may have to, for the first time, give out 2 wins.
We need a tiebreaker at that point.
There has to be a tiebreaker?
Yeah, that's correct.
Are you going to be the tiebreaker?
No, I was going to have you guys race.
Well,
race.
That's out. These hammies don't race anymore.
We'll be running down Madison Street.
Yeah. These hammies do not race anymore. Ever.
Yeah. Nick G says, I don't like Ortega and VR as 1-2, but we'll see what we got. Yeah, I was kind of like, I don't like them 1-2 either. It's more like I don't like VR being 2, and I wish it would be someone other than Ortega starting tonight. It's not that I don't like Ortega as the leadoff guy. I think it's made a lot of sense why Ortega is the leadoff guy. You stop looking at the batting average and just look at how he has quality at bats. He's not getting a lot of hits. That's the thing. So to me, it makes sense why Ortega's at the top of the lineup. It's just that he outside of the last couple of days, he has struggled to really get any consistent how to consistently get on base outside of walking or the occasional single.
I just thought of something when you were talking about saying race. When was the last time you ran a race? I actually know when the last time I was in a race.
I did a 5K with my mom, the Wrigley one.
Okay.
Back in like 2018, but I didn't race. Me and her both walked it.
That definitely doesn't count.
I have a similar story. Last time I ran a race was the sausage race.
Oh.
For a Cubs broadcast. I was a brat. Oh. And I got clobbered.
Oh, no.
I was set up, Cody. Here's what happened.
He was bamboozled.
I was. Bob Brenly and Len were doing it at the time, and they mic'd me up for it, and I was invited to do it. I was told when I got there that the 3 guys I was running against were on the Marquette track team.
Oh.
And I'm like, so you guys are going to take it easy on me, right? And they're like, no, not at all. And they start giving me advice. They're like, yeah, whatever you do, don't swing your arms because the outfit will choke you. And I'm like, okay. So I'm listening to these guys. The race gets ready to start, and before commercial break, I'm talking to Len and Bob, like through my earpiece. I'm like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, yada, yada, blah. And Bob says, watch out for that Italian sausage or whatever. He mentioned one of the sausages. And I go, what? And I turned around, and so I'm facing the wrong direction, and the gun goes off. So by the time we got to the Cubs dugout, I was really trying at first. I was way out of it. And I'm holding the sausage because they're telling me not to move my arms. So I'm running like this. I go back and watch the video. None of them are doing it. They're all swinging their arms like run. So I was scammed in the sausage race. Not only did the gun go off before I was ready, but I was given false information by the Marquette track team. And I was dead last.
Only those people in Wisconsin, man. You got to go up and get some revenge.
I was getting booed heavily by the people that like hardcore booing.
That's
I
rough.
should see if I can find the video. Like it's out there somewhere, but
just reach out
that was
to
my
our
last
friends
race
over at NBC. Maybe
and so that's when I've retired from racing.
Okay.
Because also I felt like I may have.
Well, I wish I had a better
bone.
racing story, but I don't have anything as good as that.
You've never been in a big race?
No, not like that. No.
Well, that's the only one I've ever been in since maybe the second or third.
I keep telling my girlfriend that we need to do more 5Ks,
more racing.
Yeah, you do. Well, I
not
want
sprinting.
Not
Let me just tell you, sprinting is a horrible idea.
Oh yeah. I just want to do 5Ks that always end in beer at the end. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of 5Ks that are like that.
I would do like a 3K if I could walk it.
Yeah,
I will. Oh, marathon is something I will never, ever, ever do.
Nah, that's gonna be a no for me, dog.
Jack says he ran cross country in school, hated the starts. See, there you go. All right, Cubs, Brewers. We'll be back here on
Post-game.
YouTube with the post-game show
In Studio C.
and a podcast. Studio C for Cubs. The draft is going on. We'll keep you aware of both things. You can watch their podcast. You can jump back in on the Cubs game if you missed something. We'll be chatting about it on the post-game show. Thanks for dropping in to check out the CHGO Cubs pregame show. We'll see you after the game, and hopefully it's a W up at Wrigley North.